Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Hostile Galaxy battle report. We're having our game number 3 for the Escalation League, so this is a 1,000-point game. We'll talk about the deployment and stuff in a minute. This is what I'm running for 1,000 points. I think, Sal, can you correct? I think we only do one game at 1,000 points. We did 2 500, and I think it goes 1,000 and then to 17. Is it 2 at 1,000? Oh, okay. I haven't looked. As you can tell, I haven't read through the rest of it. I knew this is 1,000 points. This is, I'm so sad, it's only 993 points. Yes, I could have paid the 5 points to throw a bolter on the Predator just to make it closer to 1,000, but I don't have it modeled that way, and I didn't want to glue stuff on and do all that last minute. So, I'll run at my deficit. It'll be fine. I have Exalted Sorcerer. He's on the disc. He has the sword added for 5 points. He's the Warlord, so I'm running Cult of Duplicity again. I really love Cult of Duplicity. He has their Warlord trait, so he can redeploy himself in D3 units. And I think that's it on the Warlord trait, actually, is the redeploy shenanigan. I also paid to CP to give him the relic, so he has the Demon's Eye Hood or something like that, which I regen a command point when Sal spins them on a 5-up. So hopefully I'll gain some from that. I am bringing Ahriman. He's not the Warlord, but because I don't really like his Warlord trait, but he is going to be here to help me do some nasty with the psychic stuff, which I'll need. Got 5 Terminators, 1 Soul Reaper cannon in here. We've got 2 5-man Rubric squads. Got a Hellbrute with the Multi-Melta and the Fist. We got a Chaos Spawn, just a singular one, and I already mentioned the Predator with all the las cannons. Now, you'll see the army I'm facing again in a second. Playing Sal, he's running demons. So if you know anything about them, you already know that my las cannons are going to just pitter-patter and be, lame. We're going to try to make it work. I have some thoughts. Sadly, Sal said he already has some thoughts, so it might not work out at all, but I'm going to try it. So this is my points. My list. This is 993 points. And we'll be back in a second to look at the demons. Alrighty, here we are. These are the demons. Sal's running Tzeentch, which is ironic because I'm running 1,000 Suns. That's not why he runs Tzeentch. That's just what he wants to run. This is 1,000 points on the nose, folks. So if you're keeping track at home, if I lose the game, that's why. That's just how it rolls, right? Okay. Obvious things out of the way. Lord of Change. He's the big. He's the bad. He's the ugly. So he has the Impossible Robe, which is your. What does that one give you?
Better.
That's the better save?
Yeah.
Save. Yeah. Oh, it's -1 to wound him. That's what it is. So it's -1 to wound him. And then he also has the... What was the other thing?
Incorporeal form?
Yeah, that one. Where he can choose to ignore a damage taken in any phase. So if he fails a save somewhere, he can decide to ignore that. It doesn't have to be the first one. Just as long as he's failed a save and is going to take damage, he can ignore that once in a phase, which is annoying. He'll have his cast and his denies as usual. This dude over here, I don't remember his name now. He's a caster.
Fate Skimmer.
A Fate Skimmer. So he's got some casts. He's got some shooty, some melee. He's kind of a nice all-around dude. 2 casts and 1 deny, you said? Mm-hmm. Yep. This dude over here is a fiery, chariot boy. I don't remember his name. I don't know their names. He's a burning chariot. Oh, it's close. Lots of flaming goodness from him. You got 2 squads of flamers there. You got the change caster. Oh, I got one right. You like that? He also has 2 cast and a single deny. And then a whole bunch of blues here in the front.
And the screamers.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. There's 3 screamers right there. Yeah, I keep looking at them, and they're in the same line as these other guys as part of, anyways. They're there. They're a thing. Yeah, so if you haven't seen demons, they're quick. They have a lot of flamey output, and there's a lot of casting going on. So... it'll be a really interesting game. We'll be back in a second. We'll show you our mission. We'll show you deployments, how we've deployed, and then we'll get the game started. We'll be back in a few. All right, folks, here we have it. We rolled up, we didn't roll up, it's an escalation game, so it was chosen for us. We have Surge of Faith. You've got deployment zones, either end, right? They go across the whole board. You've got 4 markers. This is if you look at the diagram, it's all freaky, and you measure from the middle and go over and all this weird stuff. It's really, you got 2 kind of catty corner and 2 sort of catty corner. It's not that weird. Over on this side, we've got Sal with some flamers, some screamers, the change caster dude, and your casting guy on a disky, floaty screamer mess. I can't remember his name for nothing. Over here we got some blues. We got the Lord of Change. a big one. And in Deep Strike, we got a Burning Chariot and more Flamers. Because, ow, my foot. Because why not? We have marked the center of the board because that matters for secondaries. On my side, I put some rubrics here. We've got Chaos Spawn back here. Termies, got the Hellbrute, got Exalted, more rubrics, and the Predator. I didn't Deep Strike anything. I'm really a bit concerned about the Deep Strike shenanigans of the demons and their speed, so I didn't really wish to have other stuff kind of doing that. So we'll see. Secondary-wise, I've decided to go with Assassinate because he has 3 characters. Sorcerer's Prowess, which is the one where if I'm killing in Psychic, I gain points for that, and then grind them down. And Sal's taking Reality Rebels, which is if he has more units than I do in table quarters, he gets points for it. He is also taking Warp Ritual, and he's taking Grind Them Down as well. So it'll be, I think, a kind of fun matchup. And by the way, these, if you're looking at that and going, what is that? These big, huge things are just marking the edge of the board for us. We're not actually using them. So we've got some dense terrain covering the objectives on the corners there. We've got a can't see through, can't walk through thing in the middle, which Sal doesn't care about because everything in his army flies except for one little dude who teleports. And that's that. These will be line of sight, true line of sight. If you get in them, they're obscuring if you're behind them. And these you cannot shoot through because they're just solid buildings with no doors or windows. That is it. So Sal, if you're ready to roll, we're going to do a roll off. We'll see who's going to be going first. Oh, 6. Man, 6 again. Oh, I just rolled 4. His dice everywhere. It is a 4. All right, so Mr. Sal and his demons will be starting this game off. Turn 1 for the demons. We'll be back in a minute. Here we go. The end of Demons turn 1. Home slice here. He scooted forward. They did nothing. This guy flew up to here to be in the middle, which, with Reality Rebels, we were just discussing and I was learning, as long as a unit is within 6 of the center, they count for one of the quote-unquote table quarters. So he has 1 table quarter there, Screamers, Horrors. You got 1 table quarter here, Flamers at Advanced, Change Caster. Lord of Change isn't quite a quarter. He doesn't outnumber me. Anyways, that's not the point. But that actually counts for 3 points for Reality Rebels because of the 6-inch in the center thing. Cool. Very cool. I did not know that was a deal. Lord of Change hopped his happy self over here for 2 CP, which I stole 1 back with my relic. Yes. Put me to 3, and I used some of them. He did some mortals. I did some good denying. This guy is the only guy that took wounds. It was from the targetable, I don't remember what it was called, but he took a mortal from that, and then because he successfully wounded me, he could spend warp. No, what? It's a thing. It's a thing he does. If you take damage and from him in the psychic, then you take another one at the end of the phase. So he took 2, but my deny game was strong. Sadly, I was not able to deny Warp Ritual because he cast on an 11, but he spent his. That's what you spent your whatchamadoodle points on, your Warp Storm points. Yes, so that he got a +1 army wide, which meant that an 11 became a 12, and I can't deny that. I'm not Grey Knights. Yeah, oh well. Screamers over there. I don't remember if I said that, and that's where we stand. So that is the end of Demons turn 1. He did pick up 3 for Reality Rebels, and the first Warp Ritual is done. Now we'll go into Thousand Suns turn 1. All right, folks, here's the skinny. Turn 1's done. Move this dude back a little bit. These guys moved up. The Terminators just moved forward. Only had 2 that were sticking out that could shoot. So all of this stuff shot over here into these dudes. The -1 to hit them. The terrain. Blah blah blah. I did nothing. All right. Yep. So and then we've learned a thing. All right. This is very valuable information, I think, for some folks. And if we're wrong, please do let us know. I did some moving over here. Got Armon over this direction so he could cast into the Big Bird. Hellbrute was here. These guys are kind of just did a little shuffle. Actually, I didn't move them because they're already in rapid fire range, so I didn't want to deal with that. This guy moved up and. He moved forward. He did some casting. I cast Twist of Fate, which removes invulnerable saves, which is great. Well, then Sal mentions, we don't have invulnerable saves. I don't think it works against demons because it's called a demonic save. So we did some checking. We've read the book. We've double-checked rules. We're pretty much 100% sure this is right. my Twist of Fate removing invul saves does nothing against the demon save. Maybe very sad. I also did roll doubles, which meant that I took perils because Sal spent his last 2 warp storm points to be able to make me take perils if I rolled a double. So he got hurt. It's kind of wild. So you can't remove the invulnerable saves of demons. I'm impressed. So then all of my great planning and I'm going to shoot him to death. My multi-melta hit and wounded. My las cannons hit, a couple of them wounded. He made all the saves because there were 3 ups. All of this stuff shot, everything. In the psychic phase, I did drop him down to 10 wounds, I guess. And I took 1 whole damage off of him in the combat phase because he saved all of these. He saved all of those. I don't know. It made me so sad. Over here, this combat went a little better. We killed all but 1, and he's down to 2 wounds left, and then he slapped me back, and I failed to save, so I took a wound there. It's very interesting. It's kind of a weird first turn. Neither of us scored, grind him down. That's it. That is the end of turn 1. So we'll be back for turn 2 with the demons in a moment. So the demon's turn is come and gone. Mr. Exalted denied most spells, and then he took the full-on, I roll the 9d6 and take 5s or mortal wounds, and took 4 mortal wounds from that. That was the one I did not deny. And it killed him, so he's dead. Hellbrute took a wound from Flamers, then got charged by this guy, and we just slapped back and forth. Ahriman was the surprise loss to me. This dude screwed it up. And no psychic anything happened. Shooting, nothing happened. No, he took 2 in shooting. He failed to save and took 2 in shooting, so he had 4 wounds left. This guy came in and hit him. I failed a whole 2 saves, so we're 2 damage each. I re-rolled 1, and I still failed it because I was a 4-up invul. Figured, might as well try. And Ahriman died. I didn't expect to lose both of my characters in that turn. I thought I'd still get some psychic output from them. So, piled into my tank. He had the room to get there without tagging these guys, so it is what it is. But it was a little disappointing. So I've lost 2 units to that. I also lost my hurt Terminator over here because the little blues shot through the building, and I failed to save. I needed a 2. I failed it. I rolled a 1. That was bad. So kind of weird. He did spend his 2 CP to teleport this dude away from me. Yeah. So that's the end of that turn. We'll be back in a second for Thousand Suns. Turn 2. It is the end of Thousand Suns. Turn 2. Interesting times we live in. Chaos Spawn almost failed a 2.5-inch charge. He tried really hard. They made their charge. In melee, we did the killing. They did do a smite that was not denied. So I took a couple wounds off with a smite, and then he finished them off with his attacks. I did all the shooting, nothing. Did all the shooting, nothing. Hellbrute took another wound in melee. Is what it is. These guys, they moved up and they did their mission bonus action. These fellers moved forward, did the shooting into Mr. Change, whatchamadoodle, did a wound or 2 in that, and then charged him and killed him. I went ahead and piled into the big bird. I don't know if that matters or not. It does cost him CP to fall back, but now he can just unload psychic devastation upon them, so it might have been a bad. They were going to get psychic anyways. Now he has to decide he doesn't have 2 CP, so he can't do the teleporting away, so maybe my dudes are safe from getting flamed this turn. I don't know. But that was my thinking there. In melee, I managed to get 1 wound through with his 4-up invul in melee. So he's down to 6 wounds left, so I'm going to have to do some work on that guy. And I picked up 2 characters, so I've got 2 for Assassinate. Neither one of us scored grind again, and I haven't killed anything in the psychic phase because he killed my characters, which are going to help me a lot with that. So I don't know if I'm going to score points on that. But that is the end of the turn. We both had 8 for primary. We'll go back in a minute for the Demons turn 3. It is the end of Demons turn 3. So these little dudes, they did their shenanigans, boot, scoot, and boogied over here and killed a dude. But they also split firepower over here. You notice there's a singular Terminator here. I'm feeling very disappointed about this. We took a lot of Psychic. We denied no Psychic and just picked up all but him. It was very lacking. And then he lost a wound because these little dudes back here in the building, they shot at him and he failed to save. I was like, why? Why would you do that? Why? So that's that. They completed the action again for the mission bonus action. So he's got 2 of those done. And then in combat over here, Mr. Hellbrute finally got some saves to be failed by Mr. Chariot Thing, and we killed it. So that was good for me. Then he still picked up 3 for Reality Rebels. No Warp Ritual this time. And the tally is not in his favor for grind. I'm going to actually score points on that one. Unless I give something up to him, which could happen, and that would be embarrassing. So, we'll see what happens in the Thousand Suns turn 3 next. Alright, it's the end of the Thousand Suns turn 3. It's a very interesting game. My biggest failing in life this turn was that guy didn't manage to get Sorceress Facade to go off. I even spent a CP to re-roll it. I rolled a 5 both times. Not enough Cabal points or any other shenanigans to make that happen. So he stayed in combat, which meant that my clever positioning of my Predator and Mr. Hellbrute, who I realized at this point in the game was stuck and not able to go around the building, weren't going to be able to shoot those. It was very disappointing. My Hellbrute did manage to plink one of them off. This guy, I went ahead and shot the Predator all into the blues that were over here, the blue flamey boys. We killed one with something, the Psychic, I think, right? It was a Smite. And then charged him and killed him in combat. I did try to get this guy to charge. He didn't make it. It was a good effort, but hey, they were able to do it on their own. I did shoot into the blues, and now there's a couple of little brims in there. Yeah, because I killed 2, and then they came back, naturally, because that's what they would do. This combat is still going on. He wounded me 1 time. I failed to save, CP'd it, and made the save. He did no wounds to him. So, that is where we're at. It's a very intriguing game. Points-wise, we're close to each other. I picked up grind this turn, but it's really still kind of anybody's game. I don't have any idea where this is going to end up for us. So, we'll be back for Demons turn 3 in a minute. End of the Demons, turn 4. So, this has been the most absurd thing we've ever seen. We're having a good time laughing. You notice I took a wound. You know what that was from? That wound was from Mr. Screamy Boy flying over my head and dropping a mortal wound on me. That's it. That's the wound he took. It has been redonkulous. So I denied his Psychic this time. I mean, it's been bad, except for the spell that went over here and did 2 wounds on the Hellbrute. Yeah, it's been absolutely bonkers. I took a wound here from shooting from the blues. They have actually consistently taken a wound off everything they've shot at, which is kind of comical because I took a wound off a Terminator twice, took a wound off these guys. But other than that, you know, it is what it is. These guys moved into the center so that he gets his Reality Rebels for 3 points again. That guy flew over to hold that objective. This right here, just... it's silly is what it is. It's silly. I almost wish he had died so that I could then shoot at this guy, even though he has 3-up saves all day. But it is what it is. It's pretty wild. So, that's it. He picked up 8 on primary again. So, I don't know. This game's really close. The points are just, yeah, it's something else. We'll be back in a second for Thousand Suns turn 4. Hopefully, not hopefully, something is about to die. We're sure of that. I hope it's his stuff and not mine. But we'll see. We'll be back in a minute for Thousand Suns turn 4. Alright, so it's the end of Thousand Suns turn 4. Tried to teleport these guys out with Sorceress Facade. Failed it, rerolled it, failed it. It's the same exact dice rolls as the Terminator did both times now. So apparently Tzeentch is not impressed. It's been a weird, really weird game. These two guys, still having nothing to shoot at except for Mr. Screamer, did the shooting, we did the wounding, he made the saves because it's a 3-up invul. So we're not surprised. These guys moved up. We shot into the guy. So the two flamers, one of them took some mortal wounds, so it was on a single wound. So I put everything into them, hoping maybe I'd kill the one and reduce the incoming Overwatch, which I was anticipating. Guess what? I didn't kill the guy because he's got a 3-up save. The spawn made a long bomb charge, but he got Overwatch because I charged with him first, and he died. Because I should have charged those guys who have a better save if I was really thinking now, in the rearview mirror, whatever. If I could have just killed that guy, then so I gave up a tying grind him down point by losing my spawn. Then in combat, they killed the two flamers. Then my Terminator died when Home Skillet finally decided to hit me. Yes, he did. He hit me 3 times instead of once. He wounded me twice, and I failed both the saves. If I'd just made the one save, would have stayed alive, potentially. I did manage to do a smite on him and took him down to 6 wounds left. So I think that's probably what just made him mad. That's what I'm thinking. Is that scratching of his psychic might is what angered him, and he was able to finally kill the Terminator. But because of that, I lost the grind him down race because my Terminator died. So it is the end of my turn. I gave Sal 3 points. It was very disturbing. And I did not gain any additional points yet. So I really don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen here. So we're going into Demons. This is turn 5. Last turn. There's some ridiculousness going on here. So we'll be back in a minute with Demons turn 5. Well, now, folks, end of turn 5. So Psychic happened, did a lot of killing over here. Then he shot and took the last wound off the last guy right there. He actually hit something. We've been laughing. We haven't even talked about it. His D6 attacks, he's gotten 1 on hits every turn for 3 turns in a row. This time he rolled 6. And then he still only wounded me 1 time, but I failed it, and that little last wound was removed. Over here, this guy's doing the action again, which is gonna matter as we throw rulers on the floor. And my Hellbrute took a Psychic to the face, and his 2 wounds evaporated, and he died. So Sal has 2 for grind at the moment, which is problematic. I mean, technically, there are things on the board that I can kill with this turn, but the way the dice have been, I'm not going to say there's even a remote chance that that's going to happen. Because he has 3-up invulnerable saves everywhere, so it is what it is. So we'll be back in a minute for Thousand Suns turn 5. We're going to pull off the miracle comeback victory you've never seen, because it hasn't happened yet. So we'll be back for Thousand Suns turn 5 in a minute. Alright, it is the end of my turn, turn 5. The game is over. These little boogers, went ahead and attempted to advance them onto the objective so I would have a CP left in my Psychic phase to do other things. I failed to make them far enough on the advance, so I went ahead and cast Sorcerer's Facade, failed it again for the 5th time in a row. CP re-rolled it and actually was successful and did not get denied, so I did pop them over here, and you score secondary at the end, so I picked up my 8 for primary points, not secondary, primary at the end of the game. If you went second, that's what I was trying to say. Couldn't Psychic because I advanced. Couldn't shoot because I advanced. Not that shooting has done any good in this game. So I let my Predator unload on the big bird, and I had 2 wounds, and of course he made 2 saves. So didn't kill him. They couldn't kill him. I picked up 8 more for primary. And for what appeared to be a super, super close game at the end of turn 3, it just fell apart for my army at the end of turn, or starting in turn 4. Like, things just went sideways. Even though I kept killing things and making moves, that last little dude has stayed alive. Home Skillet on 6 wounds, and then I really haven't done anything to the blues back there. I killed 2, and I couldn't teleport, I couldn't get around, I couldn't get over. Failing to cast Sorcerer's Facade 5 times in a row really hurt what I expected to do in this game. But, I mean, it's a dice game, so, we've had a lot of fun. It's been a wild, crazy game. Final score ended up being 76 to 51. His Reality Rebels was huge. Managed to get 2 warp rituals. And then my Sorcerer's Facade, if I hadn't lost my 2 characters in turn 2, I would have and should have done a lot more psychic output. So his warp, what are those things? Your warp points, warp storm points, being able to spend 2 of them to make any doubles that I rolled in my psychic test perils actually hurt a few of my things. And it at least made me hesitant to cast some things. And then, so Sorcerer's Prowess I didn't get. Grind them down, I came close to getting 2 turns. He didn't get it for 2 turns, then he picked it up the last 2. So, I mean, it's pretty wild. It's really wild. If my 2 characters hadn't both crumpled in the second turn, I should have been able to kill the Lord of Change. But I couldn't because they all died. It was crazy. Such a fun game. Learned some cool things. I thought my neat shenanigan of taking away his invul saves would work to at least kill a thing in a turn. Turns out you can't do that because demonic saves are different and special. But wow, what a blast. So, thank you very much for the game. It's been a good one. MVP for you?
MVP is this little screamer that did actions the whole time.
He went
did
over
actions and did mortal wounds. He's the only reliable unit I have.
He really was, and he should have died. He never died.
I almost didn't bring that.
Ah, man. No, that was fun, and they're fast. So that guy, like, that's a good action monkey to bring. And then the little blues back there, ironically, were your most consistent damage for shooting. Because I took a wound off everything they shot at. But I will say they also screened really well back there. No. So as much as they might not have done a lot, they proved to be pretty helpful in this game. Man, I don't know. My Terminator that wouldn't die probably could have been MVP, but he also couldn't cast his spell for like 3 turns in a row. So I don't know. He tied up Big Bird for a while. It was crazy. It was such a fun game. Like, every one of my units did what I wanted them to do. Maybe not this squad. They didn't get a chance, really, because I just, yeah. But it was a lot of fun. That was a cool game.
Yeah, it was good.
That was interesting. So, thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure. Been a blast. We'll always have a good time playing. So, I've realized, too, on the way over here, I don't know that I've beat you yet.
You beat me in Tempest of War.
Oh, I did a Tempest of War game, that's right. But in the regular games, like my Grey Knights versus your Admech, I didn't win. I think we played 2 of those.
Yeah, but it's always been close.
They've been close. In this game, I played your Demons, the first game you had with them, I think. Or one of your first games with them.
Oh, yeah, you that too.
No, I lost that one by 3, I think. It was that close. Like, it was a super, super close game. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I won that one. I don't think so. So anyways, Sal continues to stay strong. It's been a lot of fun. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. Click, subscribe, like, those things. Yes. And catch us back for the next Hostile Galaxy Battle Report. That's what I'm looking for.